Hello everyone, here in this practice we are going to learn how to use user underscore constraints and user underscore cons underscore columns data dictionary views to retrieve information about all constraints created on all tables that you own. So here, as we can see, we have three practices. Write a query to view all constraints: the table name, the constraint type, and the status created on a table called emp underscore new. So we can describe first user underscore constraints before writing the select statement. Click run. So as we can see, we have many columns here in user underscore constraints data dictionary view. We have the owner, we have the constraint name, we have the constraint type, we have the table name, we have the delete rule, we have the status, and so on. So we can write our select statement. Select, we can retrieve the owner, we can retrieve the table underscore name, we want also the constraint underscore name, and we want also the constraint underscore type. We want also the status from user underscore constraints. Run the select statement. So as we can see, the select statement retains all constraints on all tables owned by the HR user. Because we are connecting to the database using HR user, the select statement returns all constraints created on all tables owned by the HR user. Here we want to filter the output for only table emp underscore new. So we can edit our select statement where table underscore name equal emp underscore new. Once finished, run the select statement, and here we go. So we have here 5 constraints created on emp underscore new table. This is the constraint type. R is a foreign key, C is the check constraint, this is a primary key, and this is unique key, and this is the status for each constraint, which is enabled for all constraints. If you want to select from all underscore constraints, you have to filter the output by using the owner and the table name. In the second practice, write a query to view all constraints, but here we want to retain the table name, the column name, constraint type, and the status. Column name cannot be retrieved by using user underscore constraints. We can use user underscore cons underscore columns. So let us first describe user underscore cons underscore columns data dictionary view. So as we can see, user underscore cons underscore columns data dictionary view contains only 5 columns: the owner, the constraint name, the table name, the column name, and the position. So if we want to retain the table name, the column name, the constraint name, constraint type, and the status, we have to join user underscore constraints with user underscore cons underscore columns. Constraint type and status can be retrieved only using user underscore constraints, while column name can be retrieved only using user underscore cons underscore columns. So here, because we want to return columns from both views, we have to use the join statement. So we want to select from user underscore constraints. We can give it an alias C, join user underscore cons underscore columns, and we can give it an alias C. We want here to select the table name. The table name can be retrieved from user underscore constraints or user underscore cons underscore columns. So we can write, for example, c.table underscore name. Column name can be only retrieved from user underscore cons underscore columns. So we can use the alias of this table, cc.column underscore name. The constraint name can be retrieved from either user underscore constraints or user underscore cons underscore columns. So we can use c or cc, c.constraint underscore name. The constraint type and the status can be retrieved from the user underscore constraints only, c.constraint underscore type and c.status. And the join condition is on c.table underscore name equal cc.table underscore name and c.constraint underscore name equal cc.constraint underscore name. So as we learned before, if we want to join user underscore constraints with user underscore cons underscore columns, you have to use 2 join conditions: the table name and the constraint name. You can also use here the owner and c.owner equal cc.owner, but this is not mandatory if you are reading from user underscore constraints and user underscore cons underscore columns. But if you are joining all underscore constraints with all underscore cons underscore columns, you have to use 3 columns in this case: the table name, the constraint name, and the owner. So once finished, run the select statement. and here we go. So as we can see, these are all constraints created on all tables owned by the HR user. But here we want to filter the output for only table emp underscore new, so we can write here and, or we can use where condition and c.table underscore name equal emp underscore new. Run the select statement. So as we can see, this is the table name, this is the column name where the constraint is created, and this is the constraint name. So we have here a constraint dept underscore id underscore fk, which is a foreign key created on dept underscore id. This is a check constraint created on emp underscore name. This is also a check constraint created on the salary column. This is a primary key created on the column emp underscore id, and this is a constraint unique key created on the email column. In the last practice, edit the previous practice that prompt the user to enter the table name test for table dept underscore new. So here we want to make our select statement more flexible by using substitution variables. Instead of providing here a specific table name, we can use ampersand and provide, for example, table underscore name for the substitution variable name. Once finished, run the select statement, and here we go. So as we can see, SQL developer prompts for the value of the variable table underscore name, so we can test for dept underscore new and click here OK. So as we can see, the table contains only two constraints. This is the constraint name created on this column, and this is the constraint type. This is a check constraint, and this is a primary key constraint. If you want to select from all underscore constraints and all underscore cons underscore columns, the same idea applied, but you have to filter the output by using also the owner. So in this practice, we learn how to use user underscore constraints and user underscore cons underscore columns to retrieve information about the constraints created on all tables that you own. I hope this video was informative for you, and thank you for watching.